Welcome back to From an Educator. In this episode, unnecessary hardships. Let's get right to this. Welcome back to From an Educator. I'm Mr. James, an educator in Maine. And in this episode, we're talking about unnecessary hardships. That's our main theme. This is show number 72. It is currently Monday. It is the 23rd, as I check again, of August. And in 1 week, school is going to open and things are going to get more complicated. Not that they're not already complicated in my life, because so many things have to be fixed and prepared for, and the unknown you can't really prepare for, or can you? Because I always try to prepare for the unknown. But then when the unknown happens, I feel like I've been knocked off my feet and it comes out of nowhere, and yeah, I need to get better at that. And so one of those things is talking about unnecessary hardships, which are unnecessary things we put ourselves through that we shouldn't be doing, that we need to fix, basically. So once again, you're with me, which means it's going to be one of these episodes where I talk kind of like self-help like, because that's what I'm constantly doing, is trying to fix everything in my life so things run perfectly, which is like an never-ending battle, basically. So I'm going to keep pushing that rock up the hill, but the hill never ends. So anyways, how is everyone doing out there? I can't wait for cooler weather. It is still humid, and we just had a tropical storm Henri come by our area, and it wasn't that bad. We just got, the side of it, like right to the left side of it. So it wasn't really much. It rained, a little bit of wind, but nothing too bad. But now, for 1 week, it's going to be more hot weather, and I'm really done with that. I want to start getting some of the other layers out, and I'm going to be dressing like that anyways for school. So would like to have a week to try some things out, but I guess I'm just going to have to run it when school starts. So anyways, here are some updates in my main life. As I mentioned before, there's 1 week before school, 1 week to do anything that I can to get ready and prepared. Not that I'm not going to do that already during school year. I mean, I'm constantly changing things, evolving as the school year, moves along. It just becomes that you wanted to have that first impression be this amazing thing, and then things can unfold from there. And I want to cross all my T's, dot all my I's. And I don't know if that's going to happen at this point. But there are several things that I have to keep in mind, which means I don't have to plan an entire year, right before the beginning of the year. I can plan week to week or month to month like I normally do. And that's great, because things are going to change anyways. I've got a planner all set to go, and I was like, should I just start writing in it? I'm going to write the bare necessities, but I'm not going to write, complete lesson plans, because it's just going to change. I mean, I don't even know what I have for students, and I don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in, or what angle I'm going to have to take with that. So, wow, things are going to be different. It's just, I've talked about this for months, right? I was doing summer school, and I'm still talking about, well, it's going to be different when the year begins. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just shocking. I went in today to my classroom and I brought a few things. I'm doing a couple different themes this year, and I'm hopefully going to really push that to the nth degree. And I'll discuss it in a later show, what some of these themes are. But I brought in an old-fashioned radio that my grandmother owned. I mean, this is a radio that had an 8-track player, for those that are old enough to know what those are, but those are really old. from the 70s and such. And I brought it in. First thing I do, I try to find a station that worked on it, an FM station. And the first thing popped up that came in crystal clear, they were playing holiday music. And I was like, what is this? I moved to another station. I think they were singing, there was another holiday song. And I was like, what? And we're talking about not a holiday that would happen around this time of year. We're talking about like Christmas music. So surprisingly, the only other station that came in was a local college. And they had quite an interesting playlist. I'm just saying, but it just kind of painted a weird mood. I didn't get a lot of sleep previous night, and I tried to do a few things that just didn't turn out right. And I just said, you know what? This is just not the right day to do this. So I did what I could. Sometimes you can do the mindless stuff and then you can work on the mindful things later. But I think I have to drop some plans first. So I need more time in this chair to think things through. We'll see if I get that, but I'll be there every single day this week to try to make sure I've got a fighting chance for next week. So in the meantime, COVID is rising still, I believe. It's up and down. And there's this fighting going on between school districts telling people they have to wear a mask, and others saying it's up to parents and it's up to teachers and it's up to whoever wants to wear it can wear it. But ours is going to be, your choice. But I don't want to get a cold. I don't want to get sick. So obviously, I want to wear a mask. And I might have some pretty decent design masks too, if I can work things out. But I'm not into this whole fight and the politics of what's going on with this. You'll wait for a We Are the Educators episode, because I believe Mr. Ritchie would be all over that. But I'm just going to do what I have to do to survive and make sure the students that I teach have a clean classroom to go into, which is mine, and make sure everyone is safe. I just don't want kids touching each other and fighting. So believe me, I'm going to have my hands full trying to make sure that doesn't happen this year. There's also something happening right now with the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. I don't really want to go into that. Everyone's got their own opinions on things, and I don't know the history about everything pertaining to this, and I don't want to put any, ethnocentric ideas onto what's happening there, because I feel that happens a lot when we don't really know what's happening and we don't know the real story, and we put our ideals onto what should happen. I mean, honestly, I'm going to put my ideals into this episode enough about motivation and discipline. And yeah, I'll do it on that because I know psychology very well, and I've been doing this for many years. But I'm not going to do it on anything political or anything that has to do with geography and such. No, I don't know. I don't know that climate. I don't know a lot about that. And I just don't want to get into it. It's just one of those things where sometimes it's best to get away from unnecessary hardships. There we go. The hardship of talking politics. Don't want to deal with it. So I mentioned I have a new classroom theme. I'll be talking about that at a later episode. Just mentioning I'm putting a couple different themes together this year, and it's going to have to deal with how I dress as well as things in the classroom and how I approach music, which I'm teaching. So yeah, it's going to be an entire episode too, because I have some visuals that will help. Last little point on this little slide is, am I a new person? Well, I've had some sort of breakthroughs and ideas, and things change. A lot of things are similar, but I think I'm a slightly different person now. And hopefully by next week, when students see me for the first time in a long time, I will have flipped the switch and be more of a different person. At least I want to be to them. I want to be someone that they haven't seen before, that they can feel comfortable because they know who I am, but something new, something that's going to be surprising to them. So the ones that come back that, oh, I don't like this class, and for whatever reason, nothing that I feel I've done, but I wasn't teaching all of my classes last year in this school. So I have 2 grades that haven't seen me in a year, and that's going to be some issues there. But hopefully when I can, actually, it's only 1 class because the other class is going to the middle school. So, but hopefully I can be a positive change for them, and I can help them, to identify with music as much as they can. So our first theme tonight, and I always do this, if you were new to From an Educator, I always have 2 themes. One is my main theme, which comes after this theme, and I always have first one that kind of gets into it a little bit, or might be something a little bit different. This first one is just called time management. And I want to open up with asking 2 questions. Are you happy, or are you making money? Because I remember someone asking that before. They said, the only reason you will do a job or do anything in life is because either it makes you happy or it makes you money. I have a lot of things currently right now that are making me money. I have very, very few things, if any, that are actually making me happy. There's certain things I do that I do make some money from, and I end up getting happy. The process of going into it doesn't make me happy. But once I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, I remember this. And then I realize what a giant world that is. And I can't get sucked into it because I'm a different person now. So I'm kind of dipping in a lot of different worlds now with things that I used to teach. And I have to take a step back and go, how can I manage my time better so that I can bring more happiness into my life? And happiness can just be simple things like reading. For me, reading makes me happy. Practicing, sometimes playing music with others, and definitely working out at times can make me happy. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just a necessary ritual that has to happen. But I think that's a big thing in time management. If you're going to manage your time, you want to ask yourself, is this making me money, or is this making me happy? Because if it's not, if neither of those 2 are happening, if you're not happy and you're not making money, you probably shouldn't be doing it. I mean, if you're helping someone else out and you feel like, I'm not happy right now, but I know I'm gonna have a good feeling helping them out, and maybe it's gonna get me someplace else that will make me happy or will make me money. I mean, you have to think about it that way. Then okay, that's one of those little disclaimers you have to give yourself. Like, this is going to lead to money or happiness. But first, foremost, you should decide happy or money. And I'll say right now, the older you get, money doesn't really matter. I mean, money is great to take care of all these woes that happen in your life, and material and things like that. But when you kind of look at time going by and you're getting older and you think, wow, how much older can I get? You want to be more happy than you do with money, because you can't take money with you. You can't take happiness with you. Where are you going, right? Where are you going? You're going to be living forever, right? Yeah, let's hope that science works out. Maybe not in this country, but that's politics. We're not going to talk about that. So, time management. Make priorities and don't waver. Find what's a priority in your life, and that's going to change throughout your life. That can change yearly. In fact, every year I take stock of my life. Every school year, the beginning of every year, January, I do that as well. I do that after I have a birthday. I hate having birthdays. I hate, getting 1 year older. And I just take stock of everything. And I go, what is important to me now? And I get rid of things, and I change things around. And maybe I don't talk to certain people in my life. Maybe I stop doing activities. What is important to me? I start a lot of things and I don't end a lot of things. And, that's the truth behind it, because I manage my time and I realize it's a waste of my time to be doing certain things. It's great in the moment. Maybe I'm helping somebody, but I can't do in the long term because I have several other things that I'm specialized in. And so I have to keep busy doing these other things, and they make money usually. And so I have to, spend my time doing that. But you should make your priorities, make those first, figure out what those are first. And that's going to determine how you manage your time. And I'll also say that you should schedule wins in your day to make sure that you're happy with what you're managing. So that's a big thing. I try to do. One reason why I do workout every single day, and I do it in the morning, the moment I wake up, and I wake up early, especially just to do that, is because I want to win. A win is just like a small little victory. So you could have a horrible day, but you woke up and you exercised, you did something for yourself, and maybe you ate healthy. Great. Those are wins you could take with you. Yeah. The rest of your day could have been horrible, and you don't want to relive that, but you had a win in the morning. And the more little wins you schedule throughout your day, the more you can go from win to win. Even in between being bad, you wait for another win. One of the things I told another teacher was they couldn't get through. They said their classes were tough and they just couldn't wait to get through that. And I said, what do you look forward to? And they go, I don't know, just the end of the day. I go, how about looking forward to a snack? Looking forward to a lunch? Looking forward to another snack? Look forward to simple things like food, which is one of those things that makes humans feel good. And just one to the next, that's what you should, these tiny little things. That's better than this giant gap of beginning of the day, end of the day, right? It takes forever to get to that. But from beginning of the day to the first snack, whatever, that doesn't take that long. Look forward to that. Once you make it there, okay, you got your little win that maybe won't last that long. Maybe you can make it last a little bit longer. Go to the next one. Great, I had my first snack. Now I'm ready. Looking forward to lunch. I can't wait because I made sure it's something I like. Boom. Simple way to do that. Schedule wins in your day. Now your wins are going to be a priority. So make those your first priority. You have to take care of yourself before you take care of others. And this goes for parents, teachers, everybody. If you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of another person. Do not put your energy into other people unless you put energy into yourself. It's one thing people don't realize that. I will give my life for this person. Yeah, worthless, right? Don't do that. You need to do something for yourself. If you give your life for somebody, then you can't be helping them because your life is taken. They've taken your life. You need to keep your life. You need to take care of yourself so that you can take care of another person, double duty. That's basically what that is. And priorities, schedule wins, make wins so that you can make yourself a priority. And after doing that, you can make other people a priority. It's lesser than you being your priority, but honestly, everything else is. Because if you're not alive, you can't do anything. So my last little point on this is make plans, we mentioned, be prompt and quick, which means, get there on time if to do something, be quick about like setting up or doing what you have to do. And I'm thinking to my life, and I'm going to share this experience in a moment, and always have somewhere else to be. And that might seem a little like, what? Why are you saying that? So as an example, let's talk about, I play music gigs. I call them gigs, basically little jobs around the state. We make plans. So, okay, this gig is scheduled for this certain date. When I know I have to be there at a certain time, I know when we have to play, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to give a few hours, whatever, to set up, at least an hour and a half. And I'm there. And when I'm setting up, I'm not taking my time talking. I'm completely focused on making sure everything works, everything's set up the way it's going to be comfortable for me when I'm performing, so I don't have problems and I have to worry about that. I can worry about other things like, how do I remember how to play this part? And I'm very quick about getting that ready, getting things set up, and then always have somewhere else to be. In other words, when you have to do something like this, like a certain gig that I might have, I'm making sure that I'm putting my effort into that gig because I have other important things to do. I feel like when people have nothing else better to do, that they get lazy at certain things. I have nothing else to do. Hey, at least I'm doing something. That's not pretty good. If that's not a good excuse if you're in front of people performing. So honestly, think about that. If you have something else to do, somewhere else to be, that's just as important, then you're going to put effort in and make sure this thing turns out right because you have something else you want to do too. And just that idea of having something else you have to do in your head is going to motivate you to put more effort into that thing you're doing. Now, I don't want to cite any studies and such, but this sort of thing makes sense in a psychological sense, because if you're putting effort into one thing, if you're thinking forward to something like, wow, I have to do all this stuff and I have to get this, you're already creating in your mind this time management sort of like planning. And if you're doing something currently, you're going to make sure that you get that done at a certain time, right? You're going to make sure it's prompt and it's done, efficiently. So you're probably going to do it in a better way than you would if you didn't have something impending after. If you think about it, it's just that sort of like lighting a fire underneath yourself, right? You want to get moving, you want to make things happen. So always have somewhere else to be. You don't have to mention this to people. You don't have to say, I have someplace else to be that's more important. Although, if you can find a subtle way to do that, you might see people being more prompt and quick with things. You might see them talking a little bit faster. Maybe they're talking the speed that you want to hear. Maybe they're going to distill down what they want to say to you into, hard, quick facts rather than lead you on a story. And you pretty much want that because time, right? Time's fleeting. Be quick about things. So yeah, it seems seemingly controversial as I read these, but it's not. It makes absolute sense. But it is a frame of mind, so you have to be in that frame of mind to work with time. So on to our main theme today: unnecessary hardships. As I'm checking the time, because I'm trying to make these very succinct. So this doesn't become an unnecessary hardship on myself. Currently, I have things scheduled almost every single day this week, and some of them are new things like tonight. So I have to make sure if I'm recording something that I can get it done in a certain amount of time so I can manage my time. And you're probably going to notice this in the next few episodes, if not episodes from now going on, because I want to make sure we wrap things up. And it's only me, so I'm pretty good at stopping myself, I hope. You might notice, if you've seen this slide before, this slide was used at the last From an Educator. Previously, the one previous to the last one. The last one, I believe, was in my car, right? And this is an amazing book, set of bookcases in like a spiral staircase. It's like a library, but it kind of also looks like someone's house a little bit. I don't know. I guess because I see the entrance at the top, but I wanted to have this up because of the hardships that going into a library, someone mentions, okay, you want to find a certain book, and they mention, okay, it's in this section. And a lot of people now say, well, I don't even do that. I just type it in and have the front desk retrieve the book for me, and whatever library it's from. And we have that sort of thing here in Maine. I order a book, it comes from another library, I get it, I go to the front desk, it's done. But I do like walking through libraries because I like finding new things. I know what's going to jump out at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that. It's kind of like, I guess, browsing the internet used to be, right? Now I just go to the websites I need to go to. But it's an unnecessary hardship sometimes, people not knowing how to find a certain book, or having to look through a lot of different things, and they go, oh, that's so unnecessary. I would beg to differ. I think you learned from this, but thinking of the library as an unnecessary hardship in this day and age when everything's a Google, Alexa, whatever, away, from making something happen. You can talk to your phone, you can search things out, instantly get an answer, get things in digital format, listen to them, whatever. But I want you to think about these things in your life that are unnecessary. And now some things you're going to be doing are unnecessary and you think they're necessary, but you really have to think about that. What are you repeating to no avail? So what during the day are you doing over and over again and it doesn't have quite an ending? I've looked at myself recently and I tend to wash dishes after I use them. So I might be washing dishes like 5 or 6 times a day when I could just be doing them at the end of the day. Yes, I have a dishwasher. No, not every dish I use can be washed in the dishwasher. Maybe everything can. I mean, some say you can't, but some of them I do want to wash. I'm not going to put a blender in the dishwasher. But I look at it, I go, wow, 6 times I'm doing that during the day. I probably should do it 1 time a day and plan that out and figure that out. So certain things that you might find yourself doing over and over again that have nothing to do with like going to the bathroom or such, but you're like, I need to stop doing that. It's unnecessary, it's placing a strain on me because it's taking away my time. Taking away time is a strain. Now, you don't realize it now until you get older, and then you realize, wow, what a big waste of time I have. Whew, I don't want to talk about regrets, but that's probably going to be a future episode, and I've got a list of them. So think to yourself, what is not working? What is not working for you? What creates problems in your life currently? I know someone asked me, they said at one point, they were always late to different things. And when traveling, they were always late. And I said to them, get a GPS. They never had a smartphone. And even now that they have one, I don't know if they really know how to use it properly, but they always said, oh, GPS is like $100. I can't spend that. And they were always late, and they made everyone upset, and they got upset. And I think they lost out on money a few times. It's worth the money. It's worth the money to buy GPS. I mean, I loved a GPS, not for the fact that it could get me someplace and home, but it also told me the speed limit and the speed limit I was going. And I could look at that since I never look at the speedometer. I mean, think about that. That worked for me. But this person could have done that and saved themselves from some like hardship, basically. So think to yourself, what's not working in your life? What just makes you upset? It could be just organizing something to make it different. Could be just something you hate looking at every single day. You need to change. Things that are unnecessary. Sometimes the tiniest little things that mean nothing get in our way. And sometimes we get in our own way. So stop unnecessary hardships. Could be something you do that you just compulsive. You do something and you just say, wow, that's wasting a lot of time. I need to stop doing that. Maybe it's turning the TV off. Maybe it's, I don't know, certain things you might be compulsive about. It's just one of those things you have to look at. How many times are you doing certain things during the day? Can you get rid of some things? My list is I'm always checking out what I'm doing and figuring out, oh, how can I make this better? What can I do? And then my downtime, I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have more time to read. I mean, I'd love to read faster, and I'm going to try to train myself to do so, but I have to have comprehension as well. What can I sell or give away? So that's another thing. This is something that I don't think it's that controversial, for me to say that, but owning things is a burden. Having material is a burden. I remember at a point, I have instruments, but my main, cache of instruments were instruments my father bought for himself that he just, he spent a lot of money on different things. He wanted to get different instruments. He wants this sound. He wants that sound. He bought a lot of things. And then he's like, I don't want them anymore. And giving them to me wasn't something where I'm like, oh, this is great. I have all these instruments. It was a burden. Here, take care of all these instruments and make sure they're taken care of and they don't break and this and that. And I've had to do that for the past 15, 20 years, 15 years, I'm thinking more like, but it's a burden to take care of things, to hold on to that. What if someone steals one of those things? You know how much stealing should, make you upset. It's a burden to have the stuff, but you have to take care of it. And you don't like someone stealing from you. So already something gets lost and you're angry and you're like, I wouldn't be in this situation if I didn't have that material. So what can you sell and what can you give away? If you give away something, you're giving it willingly and you're going to find a way to part with it. And if you're selling something, you're getting something that's, monetarily equal to what that thing is. So I did sell a number of different things throughout the years. And it was just my way of being able to part with things. I think I might have given a few things away. I have had things stolen before, so I know the anger of having something that you care about missing. And I have videos of the person and everything. And someday I'm going to confront the police force or whatever that was on the case because they did a horrible job. And they need to be held accountable for that. And hopefully they can give me some information about that. Yeah, but see how much anger I have because of that sort of thing. And that's something that it makes sense. If someone stole thousands of dollars from you, you'd want some sort of retribution. And when someone tells you it's going to help you, the day after it happens, and the next day, no one says anything to you, and then 5 or 6 years go by, you still hear nothing from the person. That's pretty pathetic. Consider my email hasn't changed, my phone number hasn't changed, and they had a video of the person and pictures. But whatever, right? So part with material so you don't have much of a burden on yourself. Stop chasing that dead-end person, career, and life. Wow. And I didn't think it was going to get that deep, today's episode, but I'm sorry, it is deep. And I don't want to be preaching as like I'm judgmental to everybody here, but you really should look at things in your life. Stop chasing that dead-end person, a person that makes you feel bad, a person that doesn't seem to be going anywhere themselves. They don't have any goals. They don't have anything that maybe they're too idealistic and they're not making, anything real. Someone who talks about their dreams all the time, but they're not working towards those dreams, and that nothing's coming. There's no like steps they're taking towards that. You could call that a dead end person. I mean, if they could change, they totally could change. Are you going to wait until they change? Are you going to hope that they change and spend all that time waiting? Is that unnecessary? What about your career? When are you in your career? Is this your career right now? You got to think about these things. Think about the goals you might have had, when you were younger and how they changed right now. Things are always changing. Maybe you want a different career. Maybe you're on a path and you don't really need to be in that path. I've changed my path so many times, and I've even come back to paths when I realized the alternative was worse. But you have to test it. You have to test those waters. So maybe stop chasing that career that you thought you wanted when you don't actually feel like that. I do feel there's a lot of people that when you go to, say, college and such, that they talk about career advisors that don't really give a lot of decent advice, because they should distill it down to things like, do you want to help people? You go, yes. Or you could say no. I go, okay. And just narrow it down like that. And they go, here are the jobs open to you. And you go, I never thought about being a nurse or being that. Yeah, you're helping people. Yes. And it entails all these other things, but you actually might like it, rather than following a job for many years, hating yourself for wasting all that time, and then finding your dream job later, which was something you didn't expect because you actually like helping people. And you find that more in nursing than you do in whatever else you wanted to be. Make decisions. You're carrying unnecessary hardships on yourself right now. You need to find a way to part with them. And then life in general. So many things are in your people in your life, events, schedules, things like that. What can you trim down? What can you make simple? What's a hardship that you can just shed off of your life right now? Just a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And you might find yourself in a completely different direction. You might even find a different person underneath all of those hardships, because you're basically carrying a lot of weight on your back, and you can take it off. You have the right to take it off. Your time is worth more than money. That's what I mentioned in the last slide. Time is worth more than money. There's going to be money no matter what you do. And if there's not a lot of money, then you can find a way to eat cheap. You can find a way to live cheap, and you can be happy feeling like your time is worth, spent the right way. And that's that's like the how life works, right? Unnecessary hardships. Get rid of them. So sorry about being so deep. Had to go there. I'm doing this a lot. There's one thing I have to mention to everybody. For those listening and saying, wow, kind of a judgmental person, really big on self awareness and self-help. I'm always trying to help myself. And a lot of this, when I do these solo podcasts, is about helping someone out, as well as being able to voice my concerns when I don't have someone I can talk to. And when I'm doing something solo, I get to talk more and I get to flesh things out a little bit more. When I'm doing it with someone else, it is a balance, and I might not say everything I want to say for sake of time or for sake of the fact that it's just not relevant in that moment. I don't want to go off on too many tangents. So I'm using this almost like someone would use a diary, but it's a diary that can help other people as well. Plus, it's something I can look back on, so I can say, hey, at this point in time, looks like I was going through some things, and looks like I had a good mindset of doing this. Did I follow through with that? And I think you could use that if you listen to a podcast, if you watch a show or something like that. Go back and be like, okay, what did I think about when I first saw this or heard this? How am I different now? And how have things matured? And of course, technology is going to be getting better and stuff, but it's just that idea of like, how have you changed as a person? Because humans have been around for a very long time. Human nature has been around for a very long time. All this other stuff, we're incorporating this into our life. So it can't be unnecessary hardships. We need to find a way to make these work. But in the end, it's humans and the relationships they have to themselves and others. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these finite bodies and these universal minds. So our 60-second rant today, ignorance on the rise. I'm going to try to put a good, happy spin on this, even though the title doesn't seem like that. Let's go. So you might not be able to hear this, but it started 60 seconds from now. Ignorance is on the rise. And what I mean by that is those that don't know what they don't know. So those that are talking about things that they don't know and feeling like they're experts, giving advice for things that they don't understand, but also not recognizing there's things that they don't know, and not that they should step back and say, I have no expertise in this area, I don't want to talk about it. But the fact that they should probably want to learn about this and should ask more questions than give more answers. I tend to ask a lot of questions because I want to see what someone's response is. And then I want that response, if it's around other people, to influence how they answer as well, because sometimes they're going to want to be the ones that have to speak up for me. So think about that. Know, what do you not know? A lot of things. I don't know a lot of things as well. But to know that you don't know is kind of like this, giant metacognition. I don't know. I know I don't know things. And that's okay, right? Just don't be ignorant so that you talk about things you don't know all the time, and you're not actively searching to find answers to that. Have like a base of reality and critical thinking and skepticism, and work up from there. And ask a lot of questions. Actually, if you ask a lot of questions to certain people that are really instilled in their beliefs, they're going to question things themselves. And if it makes them feel uncomfortable, then maybe their beliefs aren't grounded in reality. So thank you for joining me on episode 72. If it sounds like I'm talking, I try to stretch my mouth a little bit. If it sounds like I'm talking a little bit slurred, I didn't sleep too well last night. I have a cat that woke me up every 2 hours. It's not fun, but it's one of those things that happens. I noticed myself throughout the day talking. I was like, wow, I just seemed really kind of relaxed and a little too tired. And I still woke up and I had to work out, but it hits me at a certain point. Then I go, I need something to get myself beyond that point. So I'll be figuring out what that is for an afternoon or late morning pick me up. That'd be great to get myself moving, because that's one of the big things that I find a problem with, is that I have a schedule that requires me to be on. And sometimes it's physically hard to stay on, but I need to be on. So I need to find something that is healthy, but nonetheless has an effective response, so I can stay awake and stay alert, especially now that things are going to be changing and I have, morning until at least 3:30 p.m. to be alert for others. I want to make sure I have that stamina. I know that's going to be something that I see a lot of people not able to keep up with. So, hey, train daily. If you want to be a teacher, you need to train daily in the off season as well as when you're teaching. So you need to keep up with that. I always think of these zombie movies, and everyone's like, what's the most important thing you can do to train? Aerobics, right? Cardiovascular. You need to keep up with that, because you need to be able to run. No matter how many, you're going to run out of whatever weapon you've got at a certain point. You need to be able to run. You can't run out of breath. You got to keep moving. It's the same thing with teaching. If you're a great teacher, you're moving around a lot and you are just actively making things happen. Even if it's just mentally. I mean, honestly, if I sit and think for a long time, I get hungry, because your brain uses a lot of calories. So you got to be active and you got to keep up with the energy. And please don't let the burden of unnecessary hardships weigh you down. Take some note, watch this episode again, listen to the episode again, figure out, am I saying any truths? If you don't believe so, if you find something that you want to comment about, leave a comment somewhere, find a way to get to me. This is a YouTube channel for those listening in podcast form. So find it out, write to me. Maybe tell me what your unnecessary hardships are. what are you going through? What do you feel that you repeat too many times during the day? What do you feel like you need to kind of change because it's just not worth your time? And it doesn't have to be in a mean way. You could honestly tell somebody, say, spending time with you is not worth my time. But then go into detail why and have some good reasons why. I've had to break up with people before. I've had to break up friendships. Most of the time I just stop talking to the person and they just seem to kind of drift off. But it's just one of those things where you manage your time differently than they have, and you need to find something. Find yourself. I guess that's an excuse people say all the time, but it's really time management and prioritizing things in your life. Unnecessary hardships. Get rid of them. See you next time.